Everyone, dear friends, neighbors, fellow New Democrats, thank you so much for attending tonight. My name, as you know, is Anita, and I want to be your candidate for Toronto Centre. Tonight before you, we have three very strong candidates seeking your nomination for this riding. Isn't it a great thing that all of us are women? The kind of support women receive in this party is what makes it so great. And I'm so proud to be a New Democrat. What this shows is that women are here, we have something to say, and we will change the face of politics. I've had the opportunity to get to know both Wilma and Sandra over the past few weeks, and I am convinced that whomever you vote for tonight, you will make the right decision. How should I introduce myself? Do I call myself a social scientist, a small business person, a community organizer, or a volunteer? The truth is that I'm all of these things, and these roles intersect and overlap at every time. A bit more about myself. I'm currently finishing my MA in anthropology. I also have a postgraduate diploma in e-commerce and business and an undergraduate degree in biology. In the past, I have worked in market research, project management, and a combination thereof in my family business. I've also volunteered and worked on various projects with over a dozen nonprofit organizations, student groups, and the government, such as the Status of Women Canada, the SAVAC, which is the South Asian Visual Art Collective, where I'm currently the president of the board of directors, Women in Trade Ontario, the Canadian Diabetes Association, the Cecil Community Centre, and many, many more. My experiences have been diverse, and I try to use all the skills that I have to facilitate a holistic decision-making process. My parents migrated to Canada over 30 years ago from India. My mom's here in the room with me tonight, and I was born in Montreal, Quebec. They represent a mainstream immigrant story. When they came to Canada, my father was completing his PhD, and they often struggled in those early days. This riding is the most diverse riding in Canada, but one of the most, and the issues are just as diverse. Tonight, however, I will cover just a few of those. A few weekends ago, I attended a non-partisan political conference. A recurring question that night was, why aren't voters voting as much? How do we get people out to come out and vote? As a social scientist, these type of questions have always intrigued me. Listening to people raise these questions repeatedly throughout that night made me realize that the questions themselves were wrong. The questions should have been, why are people so disillusioned by the government that they don't come out to vote? To this I say, it's because people have come to realize that they aren't being heard. So why bother? Why trust in liberals? Why trust in conservatives who aren't listening to you anyways? Either way, as a voter, you're not going to be assured that things are going to change for the better. In Canada, that's why it's so important for us, the NDP, the real alternative, to bring back people's confidence in policies that were originally intended to serve them. Another question raised that night was, why don't voters care about the issues? To which I got up and replied, voters do care about the issues. They care a lot. So much that they've started community grassroots campaigns all over this province of ours to address things that matter to them, things that are repeatedly ignored by the current government. It's not the voters that don't care. It's the irresponsible nature of governance that has failed the people. Two weeks ago, 400 women and trans people organized a campaign to take over an abandoned building in the city. They call themselves the Women Against Poverty Collective. They've been beating the same drum and decided finally to take action rather than wait for somebody else to do something about it. And their message is simple. Why waste space in abandoned buildings when there's so many homeless women, children, and trans people throughout the city? And we have nurses such as Kathy Crow, who will be coming and speaking to us later on, who have invested years in community service working with homeless, who in turn have become homeless rights activists and housing activists themselves. Poverty is an issue. Housing is an issue. People are addressing this, and we need to be there. as we have a long-standing history in this riding with working with communities for fair and accessible housing. Likewise, in this riding we also have a wonderful grassroots organization called Acorn. Actually, Howard Hampton couldn't make it tonight because he's currently speaking there at this moment. And they have been working really hard to collect signatures, knock on doors, organize campaigns to raise the minimum wage in the city. A vision which the NDP has also been advocating. A vision that we support, and a vision that is achievable now. Raising the standard of living for lower income and marginalized working individuals and families is an issue. The environment is another critical matter in all levels of government. Stephen Harper recently embarrassed our country when he addressed the G8 in Germany and said that Canada deserved special consideration when it came to the environment. What does he mean by that? In this beautiful city, we have the possibility to make it one of the greenest and greatest metropolitan areas in the world. Environmental responsibility is an issue. Green policies are an issue. The people have spoken and they want to be heard. We as the NDP can meet them there. We offer a more responsible, accessible, and transparent way of governing, and we in Toronto Centre can lead the way. This is not just the riding of Toronto Centre. This is the centre of Toronto, the very heart of the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sandra will be speaking next.